It's the Industry Reports on Gaming News Network.
Good evening and welcome to the Gaming News Network. I'm Ethan and you're watching the Industry Reports. During our last episode, I promised more on the GameXplain controversy and here we are. Welcome to the Bit-Size Report, where today we are deep diving into the GameXplain controversy. Now, this whole thing started on New Year's, probably fitting because, as they say, new year, new people to scam work out of? Wait, no, I think it's just Andre Seegers that says that. Because Andre, founder and owner of GameXplain, didn't pay two of his workers for a combined total of 21 months. For one of the biggest channels in Nintendo news, you're probably confused on where this came from. Now, on the New Year's Day episode of Good Vibes Gaming, Andre Seegers, creator and owner of GameXplain, was accused by Ash, Derek, and Steve, former GameXplain reporters, now co-founders of Good Vibes Gaming, of insane levels of crunching reviews, specifically noting how a 30-hour review of Final Fantasy VII Remake, a 30-hour game, plus scripting, recording, and editing was all expected in a 2-day period. On top of that, we here at Gaming News Network actually got exclusive footage of Andre paying Steve for the Final Fantasy VII Remake review. Roll it!
What you brought me today is worth 1/4 portion.
Yeah, Steve's wife came out on Reddit and specifically noted Steve's pay from GameXplain. He received, and I quote, what worked out to be around $1 to $2 an hour between playing through games, writing and producing videos, maintaining and growing relationships with developers, and working to get codes for games. Now, when someone posted these comments on the GameXplain subreddit, it all blew up. These comments were seen by Andre, who was a moderator at the time, so he deleted the posts detailing these accusations and locked the subreddit. The next day, the other GameXplain subreddit monitors saw this, as they were two at the time, and hastily unlocked the subreddit and removed Andre as a moderator so he could no longer change the subreddit settings or delete posts. Then, up until Wednesday, the 13th of January, he remained largely silent across social media, namely not tweeting since the January 8th and not being part of the discussion of Super Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury on the 12th. During this silence, 4 statements from Steve, John, Ash, and Derek have been made regarding their time and their treatment within the news juggernaut. From Derek, Andre always had to be reminded to send out our paychecks. We tried to get a calendar started so he could be more consistent, but he resisted the idea. From Ash, Andre maintained a very authoritarian, top-down staff structure with him as the sole decision-maker, except in very rare circumstances. Ultimately, we were all utterly taken for granted and exploited, as Steve would also be when he joined later on, but none more so than Derek and John, and even thinking about the back-breaking work they put into the channel pretty much every day for comparatively microscopic recompense and basically zero credit fills me with an anger I can't describe. From Steve, I joined GameXplain in December 2018. Andre started paying me for my work in September 2019. And from John, the channel made more than my annual income every month, and I only got paid because I said I would leave the channel if I didn't. From Jacob, come on Ethan, you need to be paying me more. Jacob, I'm not paying you more. Anyways, yeah, these are some serious allegations from members of the GameXplain, and I feel really bad for both Steve and John, who really got the short end of the stick in not being paid. Now, since Wednesday night, there have been 3 statements released from current staff of GameXplain, 2 from Andre, and 1 from Joey Ferris. From Joey's statement, I've had to deal with a lot of horrible bosses, and Andre is not one of them by a long shot. Now, that might sound like a glowing review, but that's because that's all it is. Steve's wife, the same woman from earlier with the $1 to $2 an hour quote, found that 2 different freelancers who worked with GameXplain in the past were asked to post, and I quote, hopefully positive statements on GameXplain. Based on this, it is most likely that Joey's bootlicking statement was only made due to an attempt by Andre to save his public image. Now that that's out of the way, let's see what Andre himself had to say on Wednesday night. From Andre. I am not a perfect person. Wait, huh? What about the word sorry? Did you forget it? How do you, in a statement regarding your past mistakes, try to be all, ooh woo, I'm not perfect, oops, and not apologize? This is insane. A wise man once said, and I quote, a good dude would apologize for his shitty behavior. And that wise man was Andre Segers on April 23rd, 2019. How the mighty have fallen. Now, fast forward 27 hours, and there's another statement on Andre's Twitter account. Now, this one did have the word sorry, but once at the bottom of the 10th and last paragraph. Yeah. I'll pull some of the more meaningful quotes from this so you guys can make your own opinions from here. First, $1 to $2 an hour. I did some quick math and I cannot find a way to understand how this makes sense. In terms of Steve's Final Fantasy VII Remake review, the reviewer seemed eager to dive in and I got caught up in their excitement, but I know only too well how draining rushing to meet an embargo can be, as I've subjected myself to those same conditions multiple times. We've addressed this by improving communication with the staff on their current projects, tracking up with how their progress matches up with the planned deadlines, and then making adjustments as needed. And untimely payments? Yep, I often did take an unnecessary amount of time to send out payments, and there really is no excuse. So yeah, he's definitely a guilty man, but I think that with time, the channel will improve and management will be handled better. As of filming, that's where the story stops. If we have more, you'll hear it all from us. Now, the video was originally supposed to be cut off here, but 2 more big stories have dropped during our writing process, so I've made the decision to discuss them here instead of holding off. First, it's been announced that Vicarious Visions has been bought out by everyone's favorite pro-Chinese government, Overwatch-making controversial developer, Blizzard. Sadly, Blizzard has opted to not use the company to boost Vicarious's amazingly creative and popular games such as Skylanders, the Crash Trilogy remake, Guitar Hero, or the recent Tony Hawk Skateboarding 1 and 2 remake, but instead decided to make Vicarious, and I quote, fully dedicated to existing Blizzard games and initiatives. Well, it's been good, I guess. Goodbye, Guitar Hero. Goodbye, Skylanders. I had way too many of these things. Like, look at this. But, goodbye. You'll be missed. Goodbye, Crash. It's good knowing you. And of course, goodbye, skateboarding. We'll miss you. Oh, I need a tissue. Now, secondly, Platinum Games announced that they don't know how to count as the Platinum 4 series of announcements featuring the wonderful 101 remaster, Project GG, Platinum Games Tokyo, and Sol Cresta is reportedly getting a 5th announcement coming sometime this year as a bonus stage. While the website says it's coming on XX 2021, I find it obviously apparent that we'll see the news on March 31st. From the Gaming News Network, that's what's been happening in the industry. We'll be back in the future with more news as it comes, so keep an eye out. I'm Ethan, thanks for joining me. Good night!